Music Maker Foundation is a nonprofit organization founded in 1994 to support the true pioneers and forgotten heroes of Southern music. When I first started the organization, it was a small group of artists in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I soon realized these artists in their 70s and 80s did not fit into the recording industry. When I went to their homes, I realized they didn't have money for medicine. I realized there was food insecurity. I realized there was transportation issues. And so I thought there needed to be a new model to address American folk culture in a more holistic way. I heard of Freeman Vines through somebody who said there was a fella, an old African-American gentleman, making eccentric guitars. So I wrote Freeman a letter and I went to his home, and when I got out into his yard, I knew immediately I was at a Southern artist's yard. He says he was making hanging tree guitars. And when I talked to him, he had this visionary experience of hearing a mystical sound that kind of drove him nuts, that he was making these guitars looking for the sound.
I spent 51 years making guitars. Might have been longer than that. My daughter said about 51, because that's about her age. I didn't even know she was looking at me. Wood has a character, and wood has a soul. And if you can mess around with it, you'll find out it ain't talking like we talk, but you communicate with it. Then you start messing with it, and it'll get, the communication between you and the wood will get worse and worse. That wood that came off of the hanging tree. All I did was embellish it. Take chisels and stuff and make it deeper, and so you could see it, but it was already there. But that sound, it got to me. But most people say that they ain't experiencing that sound, but they have experienced something they dare not tell nobody because they know they won't believe it. Something spiritual like that. Now the other night I sat there, I got my wheelchair, and I sat there and looked at that cypress and looked at it, and then all of a sudden I know what got to be done. Like this piece of walnut. First I have to look at it, then I have to communicate with it. And when I get my communication with the wood like it's supposed to be, when it come out right. But if I just jump right on it with the saw and tools and stuff, it come out wrong. Everything on this earth spiritually has a soul.
It's been years he's been a diabetic, but it was under control, he could handle that. Now this situation that he's going through right now, it happened so quick, He was not a sick man. He was walking around, doing good, and all of a sudden he just got to the point where he could walk, and he didn't know what was going on. He went from doctor to doctor, try to find out what was going on, and even with that he had a little attitude, about it, but they kept on, examining him until they found out that he had cancer. He had bone cancer.
When I met him, he was suffering from diabetes. He very headstrong. He bought his diabetes medicine from nurses who stole the medicine from the hospital on the streets. That's how he afforded his medical treatment. And he had some jackleg nurse that did his treatment. It was total chaos, in my opinion.
Hey, Frank, how you doing this morning?
Not all that good, and you?
He really don't like going to the doctor. He have a very bad attitude about going to the doctors. Because one thing, like with his attitude when he would go to the doctor, for some reason they would let him sit, and they wouldn't take him in. When the doctors told him he could no longer live on his own, he asked me could he stay with me, because he did not like, being in the nursing home, because he said that he watched other people that were there and they didn't get the attention they needed. And he didn't want to be there, so he said he would prefer to die home than to die in the nursing home or in the hospital. So he resented being in the nursing home.
see when that cancer, it stopped right there. Yesterday that hand was about that wide, and the pain, it ain't like pain, a headache, arthritis in the joint. The pain in me is in the middle of the bone, in the marrow, the marrow, bone marrow. That's where the cancer at. The doctor trying to medically help you correct your problem or give you some relief. He doing the best he can to make things more comfortable for you. Now see, you sitting in the damn wheelchair and stuff and all like that right there and getting therapy because you're too sorry to walk and this and that right there is totally different. That's when you need the therapy.
The 4 caregivers that he has show him love. And I believe that's the reason why he's here now, because of the love that we have shown him.
First was a woman named Julia Smith, who was our first healthcare person who worked with him for 2 years. Then she moved on. And since that time, Alice Vines' sister has come in and really stepped in and taken him to all the doctor's appointments. And then Paulette, who's the postmaster of that small town of Fountain, feeds him twice a day religiously. Not a day goes by since he moved in from the farm into the small town of Fountain. So those 2 ladies really keep an eye on him, and that has been wonderful for him.
Some of the things I do for my brother is I order his medicine. I go pick his medicine up. I pick his food up for him. I also take him to his chemotherapist appointments every week, and I also take him to his doctor's appointment and to his urologist appointment. Wherever he got to go, I takes him. You know, Tim and Dee live in Raleigh, and for to come all the way from Raleigh to Fountain, they got to care for him. I'm glad that I'm able to do for my brother.
Having a caregiver go to the doctor's appointment, I think actually saved his life, because the caregivers noticed a very bad smell with his eye. They went into the doctor and they dismissed him, and the caregiver said, "No, I believe there's an infection in that eye." And another doctor came and looked, and within 3 hours he was whisked to Duke, and that eye was taken out, and it was gangrene. And so I think that caregiver saved his life, and it shows you really need an advocate. Elderly people need an advocate. Freeman, as a very sick man in his 80s, is still making a huge body of work on his own terms at his own shop. If he is in a nursing home, he couldn't do that. You know, he didn't want to be there. He wants to create. So it's nourishing his soul and nourishing his heart and probably nourishing his health to be able to do that.
Well, the thing about it is, when you're in that zone, the pain, you're not aware of nothing but what you're trying to do, what you're trying to get done, stuff like that. The pain is there, but you don't just focus on it. It actually helps you kind of forget it's there. 81 years, about everything on me is wore out. I don't fear death. My daddy didn't fear death till the last minute. What I really want is to get rid of this cancer. Simple as that. If I ever been happy, I don't know what happy is. Listen to just laughing and feeling good. I never knew, nobody never described to me what the feeling of happiness was. In fact, I had never thought about it. That's a powerful word, happy.